Hello, everybody. Back again. Been gone for a little while. Last week, Tuesday, I came down with some kind of, it seemed like a stomach bug, and it kind of set me back a little bit. Don't worry, it's not the coronavirus. I did get tested, and it came back negative. So I'm back in the saddle here, and I hope to be able to resume the devotionals. I want to pick up where we left off in Luke chapter 12. I touched on this whole idea that Jesus talks about at the end of this section, where he talks about fear, worry, and anxiety. And I want to read it to you once more. He says, "Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Sell your possessions and give to the needy. Provide yourselves with money bags that do not grow old, with a treasure in the heavens that does not fail, where no thief approaches and no moth destroys. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also." And I said last time that this is a very important part of Jesus' teaching on fear, worry, and anxiety. It's the climax. And it has to do with our hearts. It has to do with what we treasure. It has to do with what we look forward to, you might say. And that makes a tremendous difference in how we live our lives. And it makes a tremendous difference on issues like fear, worry, and anxiety. And so I want us to press in a little bit and take our time to slowly just unravel what Jesus is saying here. Now, he invites us, and I like to put it that way. He invites us to enter into this way of thinking that allows us to be givers rather than takers. Isn't that what he says? Sell your possessions, give to the needy. And so it's your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to perform for it. You don't have to get on a treadmill and try to, get God to give it to you or twist his arm in any way. He delights in giving it to you. He wants to open the kingdom up to you. He wants to open your heart to the kingdom. He wants to open your heart to who Jesus the King is, to his rule and reign over your life, to his grace and his mercy and his love and his way of living under his gracious rule. And so there's no apprehension or no holding back on God's part. He is completely ready to reveal the kingdom to us, to give us the kingdom. And so he invites us then, since we have this Father who desires to give us the kingdom, and since we have a Father who can take care of our needs, he knows what we need, and he takes care of the birds, and he takes care of the lilies, and so he surely will take care of us. Jesus invites us to this way of looking at life that says, now, give yourself away, give your things away, orient your life to other people, be an outward-oriented person, looking for people who need to hear about the gospel, who need the grace of the gospel. And one of the best ways to do this is to give of your possessions, to show the love of Christ in a very practical way by giving people who have need. And one of the blessings of this, Jesus makes clear, is that when we do this, we're not so much giving our things away completely. We're not storing them in barns or banks, but in a sense, we're sending them on ahead of us. We're storing them up in heaven. That's the point that he makes. Provide for yourselves with money bags that do not grow old, with a treasure in the heavens that does not fail. And so he wants us to have the security of knowing that when we orient our lives this way and we become givers, we look outside of ourselves, and instead of trying to take and surround ourselves with things that are going to make us feel safe and comfortable, which leads to anxiety, because nothing can make you ultimately safe in this world. Everything is in flux. Everything is transient. Everything is temporary. Everything is fragile. Your life can change overnight. So instead of having to deal with the anxiety of that, Jesus says, look, put it in a place where it's safe, where no one can touch it, where moths can't eat it, thieves can't steal it, it can't diminish, it's protected, it's always there. And that's going to change your attitude about life. That's going to settle you. You always know that the most valuable things you have are safe. And so that's a way of life that he wants to invite us into. Now, what I want us to focus on in the devotions that follow this one are this idea of treasure in heaven, and where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. See, the thought I want to leave you with today is that none of this works unless there is a heaven. None of this works unless there's a life beyond this life. And there is no way around this. There is no shortcut to this. There is no way that you can just adapt this and say, well, here's some good tips and this will help me with my anxiety and maybe it'll get my life a little more integrated. You can't do that if heaven is not a real place, and it's not a real place to you, in your heart, in your understanding, in your mind, in your life, in your perspective on the future. Heaven must be a huge part of that in order to deal with anxiety here in this world. And so that's what I want to focus on in the videos to come. Thanks for watching.